Hey everybody, my name's Ed. Okay, another random comics review or walkthrough, whatever you want to call it. This one's going to be Outsiders number 12 from 1986, published by DC Comics by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aparo. President Bentama, the people's friend. And then you see this hand here, like ripping down the sign. And this is the hand of Black Lightning, who's one of the heroes. Okay, so so basically, just to describe what I remember of the story, this is like part. Oh wait, this is like the last part of a story arc, and what it was, if I remember correctly, Black, like these ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or whatever, was in Africa. I can't remember if she was doing charity work or whatever, but she had gotten involved with this guy who was this corrupt politician, and he's kind of like taken over the country. It's become a dictatorship, but he's like this smooth talking. He's not the angry fist guy. He's a smooth talking, manipulative type guy. But anyway, he's taken over the country, and he's turned it into. He's got all these, labor camps and things like that, and slave labor going on. And we also find out that he's actually made a deal with the Soviets, and the Soviets are like kind of like kind of partnering with him, kind of pulling his strings, kind of partnering with him, you know, and that's just pretty much you know part of the environment. Then it's 1986. The Cold War was like in full effect. So the whole idea of the states, United States versus the communists versus the Soviets. World War III could break out any minute. That was very much what was going on in the real world, and is very much part of like pop culture at the time. Movies like The Day After, the Rambo movies, the Rocky movies, or I should say Rocky 3, I should say. Not so much Rocky 1 and 2, but Rocky 3, with Ivan Drago, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, um, that's where we're at with this story. Um, okay, so first, my comic book is falling apart. That's what I get. Anyway, the opening um, editorial is talking about. Oh, I should also talk about the format of this comic. It's talking about uh, indie comics, early indie comics, being able to find an audience in the direct sales market, direct market. And they mentioned Cerberus, ElfQuest, and First Kingdom. As one of the big two, we've taken some bold steps with packages and material. Fans seem to like that. La da da da. But basically, the whole point of this is Marvel and DC have been able to make inroads into that audience or that market as well. But what about the smaller independent people? La di da. Talks about the DC Challenge. This is another one of these things where a story would go on and a different creator would take over each issue and have to like do these move the story forward from what the previous writer and artist did, and leave it on some sort of twist for somebody else to pick up. Checklist, Outsiders 12, Vigilante 34, Watchmen number 2, Electric Warrior, Legion, Infinity Incorporated, New Teen Titans, Roots of the Swamp Thing. These were reprints of the original Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing. Legion Annual, Lords of the Ultra Realm, DC Challenge. Okay, so before we get to the comic, if you can, I don't know, you're not going to probably be able to tell, but the production values on this comic is It's kind of up there from what you would get on a normal newsstand comic. Uh, I'm looking to the side to see if I could grab something from exactly the same time, but it's another 80s comic that I can easily get to is beyond camera reach. So I'm not going to go way over there and take another 5 or 10 minutes just digging through stuff. But anyway, what was going on? This is like right when the direct market was pretty much taking over. And at this particular time, DC was experimenting with having like two versions of some of their books. So you had, I know they were doing Batman, then they were doing Batman and Outsiders. They were doing New Teen Titans, then Tales of New Teen Titans, and I think they had two Legion of Superhero books. But anyway, what it was for a while you were getting news stories in both. So you were getting the newsstand version of Batman Outsiders, which was Batman Outsiders, and that would have news stories in it. And then at the same time, you'd be getting this book just in the comic book shops. And they did that for a while. I'm not too sure how many months they did that for. They did it for several months, but then afterwards, the newsstand comic would just be reprints of this comic, you know. So, and then I think at some point it just became, you know, the one comic. You know, you weren't getting the split books anymore. But anyway, as part of their experimentation, you know, like I said, you had these were the Baxter books. I think that's what they were calling them. Heavier paper, better production values, what have you. And this is pretty normal, pretty standard stuff for comics you would pick up now. But at the time, it seemed kind of experimental. You know, it kind of seemed like a big step up. But anyway, that's what was going on then. Anyway, getting into the story. Okay, so you see the the Soviet heroes, you know, knocking in the door saying, "Where is Black Lightning?" Because they had captured all the rest of the team. They had captured all the other outsiders, and and have been able to deactivate their powers and whatnot. Uh, but they hadn't caught Black Lightning. And here you see this character here. This is Looker. She's one of the good guys, and she has like telepathic powers or whatever. And they shut her powers off, and he's kind of taking her as his kind of, you know, okay, you're gonna work with us for a while, and maybe a little bit more. Who knows? You know, that type of thing. But we figure out pretty soon that she's just trying to play him. You know, she's biding her time, that she's playing a game here. Okay, so here's Black Lightning outside, and he's talking to this guy. I can't remember if he was the leader or the president before or not, but he's been like, oh, you can't even tell in this picture. But he's been like crippled and tortured, and he has no legs, and he's in this wheelchair, and he's all angry and bitter, and he's like, I'm gonna have my revenge on evil Batama or whatever his name is, Bintama. Okay, so now we catch up with the other outsiders. Here's Geo Force, you know, he's in one of the work camps. Here's Halo. Here's Katana, and all their powers don't work right now. They've got some sort of gizmos on them that they can't use their powers. Katana doesn't actually have powers, they just took away her weapons. Meanwhile, we're back in the States, and somebody has broken this guy, pretending to be the phone man, but he's broken into Looker's house. He's trying to get some dirt on her, all right? Okay, so anyway, back to Africa. Here's Black Lightning. He's disguised himself as one of the prisoners, and he's kind of sneaking in. Finds Geoforce. All right. And then here's Looker. All right. She's doing her plan. All right. And you find out before they shut her powers off, she placed a subliminal command in this guy's head, one of the henchmen's head, And now she's able to break free, turns off the gizmo. So now she's got her superhero comic or costume. And she's about to do her thing. She saves Black Lightning's wife. Okay, here we go. Flying around. Here's a big Soviet guy. He just wants to go toe to toe with Geoforce. Soviets are kind of rounding people up. And now the rebels have decided now is the time to fight back. Oh, and here, this old man says, I've struck gold. See, there's an old legend or old folk tales. The day that they find gold, they finally find gold in the mines, is the day our country will be free. Okay. So, like I said, we've got the kind of uprising here. All right. Then everybody's getting their powers back. The outsiders are free. Get your so-called people's heroes to stop them. That's the name of the Soviet super team. The people's heroes. All right. Okay, here we go. More superhero type stuff going on. So now, of course, the heroes have to fight the Soviet villains, right? Because our guys are the good guys. They give them the old smackdown. And then here, the guy in the wheelchair actually leaps off the wheelchair to strangle Bintama. And then here, our battle would not be over until we dealt with Commander Kintu and that monster Jonathan. We have already dealt with them in our old manner. Yeah, they got him hanging here. I approve. But tell me, have you seen the tall white man who was? I'm here. La-di-da. So he's beating up the big Soviet guy. Oh, and we see here where the Monty and Bintama have strangled each other. You know, because they're so consumed with anger and hate. Uh, let's see here. And that's pretty much the end. They've liberated this. They've liberated the country, and they're about to fly away. But then the plane gets struck down. Continued next issue. Letters page. And then here's a backup story. Artist by Mark I don't know how you say his name. Beecher? Gray Marl Inker. Oh my. And basically it's Looker and Halo backstage at a fashion show. And the fashion show has been oh, has been crashed by Firefly, who was an old campy Batman villain, I believe. These days, I'm pretty sure they've kind of revamped Firefly as this kind of more of an evil, more of a not more evil. What I want to say, more psychotic villain. He's in love with fire. He's an arsonist, and oh yes, the beautiful flames and all this type of stuff. But here he's just kind of a goofy sort of throwaway villain. And anyway, very very nice art here, by the way. And they ah anyway, why aren't you afraid of me? I'm the Firefly. He's crashed into the women's changing room, and they start throwing things at him. And anyway, Halo figures out a way to negate his gizmo, and they easily make short work of him. And that's that. And then here's an ad for Watchmen. I don't mind being the smartest man in the world. I just wish it wasn't this one, Osmandius. And ad for Batman 400. And then specials and annuals. Swamp Thing 53, Batman meets Swamp Thing. And then Amethyst, Princess of Gym World. And then on the back here, we have my cover's falling off. And for Man of Steel, the John Byrne revamping of Superman. 6-issue series coming to you every 2 weeks from DC. All right. So that is pretty much it. This is 86. So a lot of crazy things were going on, or a lot of exciting things were going on from DC at this point. You had Crisis of Infinite Earths. You can see Alan Moore was still on Swamp Thing. Uh, you've got Man of Steel, and I think right after that, not long after that, Batman Year One was about to come out. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. You guys have a good day.